Hey guys, it's Paul from Ashen. It's new comic book day for the week of November 22nd. We're going to get started right now. Editor's note for those seeing our shirts, we've launched 2 new designs for our t-shirts this week. Over the next 20 days, they are going to be on sale on our website. I'll have a link in the descriptions. We're going to be doing a giveaway, or not a giveaway, we're going to be donating half the proceeds to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. It's that time of the year. Not everybody gets to stay home with their families and everything like that. Sometimes people are a lot less well off than you are. So grab a shirt, give to a great charity, and yeah, let's get started.
Guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls in the comic book store, and I'm not going to tell you about the trades this week, but you're going to get an extra review. That seems fair, right? And we're going to start off with a very die-hard Christmas. This is told in the style of the 12 Nights of Christmas, or whatever the hell it is. The Night Before Christmas. That's the one. I should know that. Anyways, it's fantastic. It is told in the style of that, like I said, and it is violent and like a kid's story. My favorite part easily is when Hans Gruber calls, instead of reindeer, he calls all the terrorists. Now Eddie, now James, now Franco. It's really good. It's hilarious how they fit in dialogue from the show and certain plot points from the movie. And if you are remotely a fan of Die Hard, because of course you would be, you need to get this. It's the best Christmas movie ever. It's arguably, I understand that's very controversial. It only kind of happens at Christmas, right?
First up, we have Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, issue number 13. It's the time skip. It's 8 years later, and I'm not happy. I've been really high on this book. I've loved this book, but it's tough coming back. It's tough leaving Ryan Stegman and having to go to somebody who has a very different style of art than him, and it's to the point where it's distracting. And I say this for some books like Lazarus and stuff, where the storyline is usually so good that the art doesn't matter. This one, it's not as strong as those types of books. So, to me, the art matters as much as the story, and it suffers because of that. So, it's our Spider Crew. It's 8 years later. They're going on like a little daycation kind of thing, and they run into a classic Spider-Man villain, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, the art's way different than I'm used to, and not quite happy with it.
Alright guys, like I said, you're going to get 3 reviews from me. You're going to get a bonus review, and the last one's Doomsday Clock. So you got to stick around for that. I guess I could fast forward. No, just stick around. Be a trooper. This isn't that long. You've wasted 10 minutes worse. Alright, so we're going to start. Here's my first review. We got Betty and Veronica Vixens from Archie Comics. Why did I pick Betty and Veronica Vixens? Is it because it's an all-female team? No, it's because my awesome friend Elena Unger did the colors for it. Hi, Elena. So, this book is pretty sweet. It's another oddball Archie book in the sense that it's not your typical happy high school kind of fare. They're in a biker gang, and how they become part of a biker gang is kind of a funny, classic Archie kind of style, but then it gets a little more dark, and I could see this easily going either way. It could end up more silly, it could end up a little more violent. I'm interested to see what happens with it, but again, it's an all-female creative team on the book. I really enjoyed it. The writing was top-notch. The writing was great. So, get this. Support Elena. She's awesome.
Next up, we have Imaginary Fiends, issue number 1. This is an interesting story. The premise is your imaginary friends when you were growing up are actually spirits from a different dimension, and as you outgrew them, they just died. But there are some that were more menacing, more powerful, that were able to get others to believe who they were, and manifest themselves and stay alive even when their original host stopped believing in them. So those possible stories of like Bloody Mary and stuff like that, those may be real because of the concept of this story. So we are dealing with one person who is who's thought she's been crazy her entire life, and as it turns out, she is one of these people that has been possessed by one of these entities that want to stay around and feeding off her fear and feeding off her pain. And she is recruited by the government to basically go and fix other people and fix other entities and get rid of them with the help of her evil imaginary spirit. It's an interesting story. I like it. I'm curious to see where this goes. It could go really well, or it could just crash and burn. We don't know yet. It's only one issue in. But definitely check it out.
My next review is a book I never thought I would read again. Silver Sable and the Wild Pack. Holy 90s. So, this title has not existed since 92, 3, 4, something like that. I think it ran, 35 issues, obviously. It has a homage to Steranko cover I enjoy. I chose it because I flipped through it, and she fights a shark at one point, and I was sold. But let it be known, she's basically trying to collect a contract on a giant freighter, and it's not quite what you think it is. There's a lot of Nazis on it, and they're radicals, and they're taking hostages, and she gets involved in the middle of it, and like I said, she fights a shark. So this book was actually really good. It felt kind of female Punisher-y, and I'm okay with that. It got a little more political than I thought it would, and I think this is a really good update on the character. And they should establish this character. Well, I don't know. Are they involved in that movie? I don't know if they are or they aren't anymore, but she's going to be in a movie, so let's make her matter and make some money off of her, Marvel, right? You don't care. This was good.
All right, guys, and the pick of the week, Wayward, issue number 25, Jim's Up. Because it's Jim's Up. It's always interesting to when some of your favorite books, some of your new books and creator-owned concepts make it to 2 years, make it to that 25 issue. It doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen in Marvel very often before they reset numbers and all this kind of stuff to bring in new readers. So when these creator-owned stuff like at Image hit that mark, it's something that they celebrate. And this is just a bigger story. It's bringing together the Japanese storyline and the Irish storyline. Can't go into a ton of it without really spoiling all the stuff, but really, really terrible stuff has happened in Ireland, and it is affecting everything in Ireland and everything in Japan, and they're clashing together. And Rory and I can't remember what her name is, but the girl who can absorb metals and absorb materials and become them are at the focal point of the storyline. And moving forward, they are going to be the conduits that are going to fix or destroy the new gods from Japan and potentially the new gods from Ireland. It's been a great story so far. Some pitfalls, some deaths that really not happy with, and some twists and turns that have been completely out of left field, but have had great payoffs to this point. So do yourself a favor, if you haven't picked up Wayward before, definitely pick up the trades. They're worthwhile. The art is great. The writing has been spectacular on them, and definitely grab the Wayward 25.
Alright guys, Doomsday Clock. This is what you all wanted, the Doomsday Clock. So what is Doomsday Clock in the DC universe and the Watchmen universe? It's kind of both. Basically, you have a little bit of DC at the end of the latter half of the story, but this is almost a true sequel to Watchmen. So if you haven't read Watchmen, spoilers abound. I'm going to spoil Watchmen. So don't listen. Or turn it off. Or mute it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the better one, right? So basically at the end of Watchmen, everybody dies, everything's terrible, the world is shit, right? Well, this actually goes a little farther and explains what would happen after the fact. Ozymandias is on the run. He's the most wanted man in the world after committing such atrocities. And there is a large focus on Rorschach, and you're confused as to how that can be. There's a very good chance it's not the same Rorschach, but it is very similar to the old Rorschach. My favorite part of this book is it felt like I was reading an Alan Moore story. The panel layout is just like the old Watchmen style with the 9 panels on most pages. It's super wordy. It's just like Watchmen. And this is, what, Jeff Johns? So, yeah, Jeff Johns. So, it's fantastic because Jeff Johns is fantastic. If you've always wanted a sequel to Watchmen, you're getting it. Now, I don't know how this is going to fit into the DCU. This is, like I said, mainly a Watchmen story. So going forward, they're going to throw your Supermans and Batmans into the story, I'm sure. I don't know if that's good or bad, but right now, as an actual sequel to Watchmen, this is fantastic. So check it out.
All right, guys, another week down. Thanks for everybody. Make sure you guys have a happy Thanksgiving if you are in the U.S. and you celebrate Thanksgiving. If not, I mean, have a happy Thursday, I guess.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. And we'll see you guys next week.
Gobble, gobble.